Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited today to be the host and designer for the Mod Squad Challenge blog. If you enter into the challenge, you have the chance of winning a $25 gift card from KitchenSinkStamps. I'm going to be using this KitchenSinkStamps stamp set called Ever After Castle, which is a fairy tale castle, sort of, and lots of other scenery stamp sets as well. So this is the stamp set for the castle. It's called Ever After Castle. I also have this stamp set called Alpine Mountains, and I have the SVG cut file of the Cloudy Skies stencil, which is available at Kitchen Sink Stamps. I'm using Catherine Pooler ink, It's a Boy, and my blending brush, my flat-topped blending brush, to create some clouds. In case you're wondering, in my description box below, you'll find all the information about how to enter the Mod Squad Challenge. I'll also have information of all the products that I'm using and where you can find them. This light blue ink is perfect for making some background clouds. You can also use other parts of the stencil as well. As I mentioned, this is a cut file that you can download from the Kitchen Sink Stamps website. I'm going to be using several SVG cut files. And what's an SVG cut file and why do we use it? Well, instead of purchasing dies, Kitchen Sink Stamps makes available for free at the time of purchase SVG cut files. So for all of the stamp sets that you purchase, you want to go ahead and pop those SVG cut files into your cart. If you have an electronic die cutting machine, such as a Cricut or a Scan and Cut, then you can create the SVG cut files. And I'm going to be using SVG cut files for the different components of my card, making it a little bit dimensional. So for example, here we have the Ever After Castle SVG cut file. And I have it cut out on regular cardstock. It's just 80-pound cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and start layering my castle. I have it in a stamp positioning tool. You don't have to put it in a stamp positioning tool, but it does help. Kitchen Sink Stamps provides these free stamp alignment guides with every stamp set that's purchased. It comes in your stamp set. It's also available on their website, and they offer these color recipe guides, which you can get a free download of these on their website. So I really like to use them to help me figure out how to color my stamps. My first thing I'm going to do is stamp the stamp with Versamark. The reason is it's a brand new stamp. It helps the ink to stick. And I'm using Memento Desert Sand ink for layer 1. Now there's 5 layers to this castle, and layer 1 is the one with the least amount of detail but the most coverage, and you'll see what I mean. Now I'm going to layer 2, and I'm going to use a different color ink. And you'll see there are areas that you can line up, and the stamp alignment guide helps you. So basically the stamp alignment guide says try to line up with the spires or like the pointy parts on the top of the castle, and also align with the roof of the castle. So this is layer 2A, and I'm using Memento Gray Flannel ink. So what I'm saying is when you go and put your stamp down, you can align it as you go. And I'm going to use Gray Flannel ink on layer 3A. Again, I use Versamark ink first to help the ink stick to the new stamp. These photopolymer stamps sometimes have a film or a little bit of material on them from when they were created in the manufacturer's facility. So sometimes the ink doesn't stick right away, but that Versamark really helps. Layer 4A is Altenew Cloudy Night ink. So I'm switching from Memento to Altenew. And basically you can use whatever inks you have. The color recipe guides are great because they give you some examples. So if you have Memento inks, you can look at the color recipe guides, get some ideas of what colors to use. I pulled in the Altenew inks and I'm really pleased with how this turned out. So this is layer 5A. This is the most detailed layer, and it's Charcoal Soot from Altenew. That's the color that I'm selecting. And the Altenew inks that I have are part of a 4-pack of grays from dark to light. It's called Gentleman's Gray. I'm going to stamp these Alpine Mountains. I really like how the castle turned out. It looks like a photograph, not necessarily just a stamped image. That's what's so fantastic about these stamps from KitchenSinkStamps. They look 3D. They look like a real photo. The Alpine Mountains stamp set has 3 different mountains. It has a long mountain, a small mountain, and a tall mountain. For my card, I'm using 1 of the long mountains and 2 of the tall mountains. In the end, I don't believe I end up using the small mountain, but I did stamp it out and I saved it. That way I can use it in the future on another project. I have the cut files, the SVG cut files that I downloaded. And remember, when you go to purchase your stamps from KitchenSinkStamp, it's free to add the cut file. If you forget to add the cut file and you check out and you pay for your purchases, you'll just have to go back in and pay 99 cents for your cut file. I'm going to use Cloudy Night on layer 3B of this small mountain. That's Altenew Cloudy Night. And I'm starting with the reverse. So instead of starting with layer number 1, I'm starting with layer number 3. And why am I doing that? Well, I just sometimes do that just for the detail. Sometimes I do that to help me align things if I have the darkest laid down first. And I'm not going to cover up. So I'm going to grab some Silver Lake from Altenew and I'm going to go for my layer 2B with Silver Lake. And instead of keep on going darker, I'm just going to keep it light. Because if I were to add dark colors at this point, I would be covering up that wonderful detail. And what's cool about that, even though it's a small mountain, you can still see that it's got texture and it looks like a glacier at the top of it. So how cool is that? Okay, so this is layer 1. And for layer 1, I'm going to use Silver Lake. Again, the same color I used for layer 2. I just don't want to cover up the imprint of my first stamp that I laid down, which has the most detail. Okay, now we're moving on to the long Alpine Mountain, starting with layer 3, meaning we're starting with the reverse image or the last layer. Getting this lined up. Since this is the last layer, we want to pick a dark colored ink. So I've got Altenew Charcoal Soot ink. This is the darkest color in the 4-color combo pack that came from Altenew. And that looks fantastic. The mountain with the glaciers on top, the detail, it does look like a photograph. I'm going to jump up to the tall mountain now. There's 1 stamp of the tall mountain that has 4 layers. I'm starting with layer 4. I'm using Charcoal Soot from Altenew. And I cut out 2 SVG files. So that's why there's 2 mountains. I'm using my Versamark first just to make sure that the ink adheres to the brand new photopolymer stamp. These photopolymer stamps are very high quality. They're made in the USA. While I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the mountain again. The SVG file I cut from my Scan and Cut. And I'm just lining the stamp up and grabbing that ink. First the Versamark ink to make it sticky and then Charcoal Soot. Getting some good coverage with that color. It's the darkest color in the set. And now we're moving on to the next layer in this long Alpine Mountain. Layer 2A, we're going to use Altenew Ink Cloudy Night. I just want to remind you to check out the description box below. Make sure you check out the Mod Squad Challenge. If you go to the link, you'll see there's a discount code for purchasing items at KitchenSinkStamps. You definitely want to take advantage of that discount code. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. That'd be fantastic. I'm getting really close to 2,000 subscribers. Once I reach that goal, I will be doing a huge giveaway, and you don't want to miss that. So if you ring the bell beside the subscribe button, press that bell button, then you will be able to subscribe to all of my future lives or recorded videos that I post on Facebook, including when I give away prizes. You don't want to miss out on that. Okay, I just did that layer. I really want to encourage you to try your hand at multi-layer stamps. It does take a little practice, but that's okay because it's only paper and you can practice, you can look at the stamp alignment guide for hints, and watch videos of other people that are working on these multi-layer stamps and get some pointers, and you'll love what the results look like. You can check out my videos that I've done in the past with multi-layer stamping to get some hints. You can also check out Nancy Stamps on YouTube. She has a lot of great videos with multi-layer stamping. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe and ring the bell. That way you'll get notified of my future videos and when I'm going live. And I want to let you know I'm really close to 2,000 subscribers. So once I hit that mark, I will be doing some giveaways. So now's a great chance to subscribe. I welcome you to my channel. Okay, sorry about that. I lost a little bit of footage. So for the last layer on each of those mountains, I finished stamping. And they look great, don't they? They look like real mountains. They're fantastic. Those gray inks that I used were wonderful. I also pulled in this green mountain. This is called Grand View Mountains, and I'm going to show you this stamp set as well. Again, I'm sorry that I lost that footage. My video just didn't turn on. For layers 1 and 2, I used melon ice. For layer 3, I used lemongrass. For layer 4, I used green tea, and for layer 5, I used eucalyptus. So this is a 5-layer stamp set that is super versatile, can be used in so many different scenes. So it's a big mountain, that's why it's called Grand View Mountain, and I'm going to trim some of the edges. But I'm getting my castle lined up, and I stamped the rock and the road that the castle is sitting on. I did that while my video was turned off. I've got this scroll that comes from the Ever After Greetings stamp set, which I'm going to use. And this is a 4-layer scroll. There's also some really nice greetings that come with this stamp set. There's also crowns and different symbols for royalty and all kinds of really cool words. So I used the SVG file to cut the scroll, and it really was helpful to use the stamp alignment guide and to use the SVG files for this set. I'm going to show you how to prepare your brand new stamp sets using the color ID film. You want to turn the color ID film face down. Then you want to take your images and place them on the back of the color ID film. This is important because the color ID film is printed in a laser printer, and if you put your stamps on the face side or the front where the ink is, your photopolymer stamps are so high quality and they will basically the ink will transfer to the photopolymer stamp if you put the stamps on the front of the color ID cards. So just put them on the back and you won't have that problem. If by chance you do get the front and the back mixed up and you put your images on top of the color ID card in the front, you can just use a little bit of hand sanitizer or rubbing alcohol and you'll be able to take that ink off. Now my stamp set is ready to be used over and over again with all of the pieces behind on the color ID card. I've got my stamp alignment guide and I have the back of my stamp packaging which shows me an example. Now for this scroll I'm using Altenew inks. The 4 colors are from the Coffee Break set. I also grabbed a sentiment from the new release, the Love Letters, and I put that sentiment on top of the scroll and it says thinking of you. I only have a minute left here on the video and I wanted to just let you know that this castle is the Schweinstein Castle in Germany, and it's the same castle that Walt Disney based the Cinderella Castle on. So if it looks familiar to you, that's probably why. I've been to Germany and we took a river cruise on the Rhine River, but we didn't get to the Neuschwanstein, which is in Bavaria. But it's just amazing, all the castles, and of course the Neuschwanstein is the most visited castle in Germany, and it is beautiful. It sits high atop a mountain, and it's like the most romantic looking castle, and you'll see it pictured on calendars, and you'll see it in all different seasons with the trees and fall foliage in the winter time. It's just beautiful all around. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background on that. And the Alpine Mountains were a new release as well. So in January, Kitchen Sink Stamp released the Ever After Castle, Ever After Greetings, Alpine Mountains, and Love Letters stamp sets, and they all work together really well. So definitely would encourage you to check those out. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video and you learned a little bit more about multi-layer stamping. I hope that you will check out the Mod Squad challenge. I want to thank Kitchen Sink Stamps for sponsoring the Mod Squad challenge. I wish you all the best of luck. I look forward to seeing your creations. And here are some still shots or photographs of the card that I made. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.